While Donald Trump is casting doubt on the seriousness of cyber attacks, that's not the case for businesses which fear a security breach. Now, IBM has created a new facility in Cambridge called the Cyber Range to teach workers how to respond. And Christina Quinn takes us inside their command center to see how it all works.
At the IBM security office in Kendall Square, someone has clicked on a bad link in an email, opening malicious software that is rapidly making its way through the network, potentially putting people's data and the company at risk. But here's the kicker. It's a simulation.
We're currently in IBM's new cyber range, known as X-Force Command.
Caleb Barlow is vice president of threat intelligence at IBM Security. He came up with the idea of the cyber range in response to what he sees as a growing need for companies to know how to respond to cyber attacks.
The key thing, what we're trying to do here is really build the leadership skills to learn not only how to identify that you're being attacked, but just as importantly, know how to respond to an attack when it does occur. You know, this isn't any different than practicing a fire drill.
And with that approach, the cyber range is not just for the IT department of a company to come in and train. Barlow says a cyber attack affects every level of a business or organization.
It goes all the way from IT to human resources to the board of directors to your customers and partners.
And if 2016 wasn't a wake-up call for organizations to double down on securing their networks, maybe a simulation will do the trick. Diana Kelly, IBM's Global Security Executive Advisor, shows us how it works.
We've actually created an attack where a phishing email came in, so an email that somebody clicked on that had malware attached to it, and the malware then infected one of the systems. Curses, absolutely.
All that red shows just how quickly the infection is taking over the network. Of course, it's all contained within IBM's cyber range, but this actually is a real virus. And since I'm no security expert, I don't know what it means, but now I know what it looks like. And Kelly says there's value in that for company executives who can be generally clueless about these things.
You can be better at detecting because you can start to identify the activity, but also, very importantly, being better and improving and practicing your response.
Part of the whole experience at IBM Cyber Range includes teaching a CEO how to deal with the public fallout of a breach. And of course, Caleb Barlow delights in reversing roles.
You don't know how your company is going to fare, but everybody's out there talking to reporters, speculating on this breach, and you need to get in front of this problem and show leadership, and you've got it under control.
We're going to go live in 3, 2.
Now, with follow-up from our previous story on the Bain & Knox breach.
I mean, this looks pretty bad. Have you been asked to resign?
Nobody has asked me to resign yet. I think that's a really large leap to make, and no, that hasn't happened.
Thanks for that information.
You know, she was incredibly unpleasant.
We threw a few of the hard ones at you,
My
right?
hands are sweating.
Well, that's
Caleb.
good. We want you to have exercised those skills ahead of time so you know both what they're going to expect and how best to respond.
Christina Quinn joins me now. Hey, Christina.
Hi, Jim.
So it's been all Russia and DNC all the time, you know, nation states. But other than this, who does these things? Who does these attacks?
Well, the reality is 80% of these attacks come from highly organized crime gangs. We're talking highly organized. These are gangs that have contractors and subcontractors. That's 80%. So there's all this talk about nation states, but they actually fall into that 20% category. That said, companies, when they say that they're hacked, they sometimes will blame. They'll want to place the blame on a nation state. Because it keeps the SEC at bay from launching an investigation. Yeah.
You know, let's go from company to personal. It's always about me. That's the deal. So I click on a link, and all of a sudden they demand a rant. They infect my computer, pay me $200, or pay whoever I am $200. One, how often does that happen? And two, am I supposed to pay the $200? What do I do? What am I supposed to do?
So ransomware is definitely increasing, and that's something that we need to be on alert of. But here's the thing. So 4,000 ransomware attacks happen daily. That's according to the Department of Justice. So since January 1st of last year, 4,000 attacks happen daily. That's a 300% increase over 2015.
So what am I supposed to do? Do I pay or what do I do?
Well, law enforcement doesn't want you to pay because then they're just sort of funding their whole organization. But what you really should be doing is preventing these attacks by, well, what you could do is back everything up. Back up your stuff. Back it up.
Even I knew that.
You get back
Christina, it's great to see you. Thanks so much, Christina Quinn.